Hello, my name is Hatem. Welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I would like to talk with you about the Mistborn Trilogy, Era 1. So this trilogy is very famous among fantasy fans and lovers, and it's hyped, and it's worth the hype. And I loved reading this very much. So the purpose of this video is to share my experience with reading this trilogy. I'll try to avoid spoilers as much as I can. So this is not a short trilogy. It's the books are bulky and big. So these are three books. Okay, the first book is The Final Empire. The second book is The Well of Ascension, and the third book is The Hero of Ages. And this is the Golanks version, the UK Golanks version. I love this version a lot. I love the minimalistic use of colors, just three colors: blue, black, and white. So yeah, and blue, of course, so we'll know why. So these are three books. And as far as I remember, the middle one, The Hero of Ages, I think it's around 750 pages. So these are a bit bulky books. So it will take you some time to read, but I binged these back to back, and I finished them very quickly, relatively. So yeah, so first, what is the world and setup of Mistborn? So Mistborn, the world of Mistborn is a fantasy world. It is the world of the Final Empire. And the Final Empire is being ruled with an iron hand by someone who calls himself the Lord Ruler. And he presents himself as the god of this world. And he's been there ruling the Final Empire for 1,000 years. And what he's been doing, he is controlling this world. He's wiping the history before he rules, before the 1,000 years, so that people living nowadays, in his days, don't remember how the world was like before the 1,000 years. And this world here is a bit of strange fantasy world. So there's ashes falling most of the times. The sun is red. And there is this mist that comes at night and leaves in the morning all the time. So this is how the world looks like. The plants, for example, are gray or something. They are not green. There are no flowers anymore. So most people seems not to remember how the world was looking like before the days of the Lord Ruler. So that was something like legends or something. And then we have the social structure in this world, in the Final Empire. So we have the nobility. So these are the top layer, which have power and money and wealth in the Final Empire. And it's said that they've been selected by the Lord Ruler because they supported him in the early days. So as a reward to them, he made them nobility. And these nobilities are made of families, houses, and there is a distribution of power between these families. There are some houses or families that are more powerful and wealthy than the others. And throughout the 1,000 years, there have been many wars between the nobility wars. And sometimes, or most of the times, Lord Ruler seems not to interfere with this, so that there's no one single nobility house becomes so powerful to defy him or something. So these are the nobility: power, money, and wealth. And then we have the Ska. And the Ska are the workers, the labor, the poor people who are not allowed to be rich or wealthy, and they serve the nobility. They have a very bad living conditions. they are treated very badly. And if the nobility are not satisfied with the level of work the ska perform, they can kill them and torture them and so on. So this is how the society works. And also, sometimes there are some nobles who choose to have some sexual relationship with ska ladies or girls, but the law that the Lord Ruler has instructed to follow is that whenever a nobility does this, this girl should be executed. And we'll know why later on. So very bad conditions for the ska. And through the 1,000 years, they try to rebel many times against the Lord Ruler, but most of the rebellions failed. They were bloody messes. So this is the social structure. And then we have related to this the political structure. So the Lord Ruler has the obligators. So these obligators are responsible for governing the nobility. So they control everything the nobility does. Even they oversee the contracts the nobility do for their business, their marriage contracts, everything should be reported to the obligators. And then the obligator report to the Lord Ruler. And also there are the inquisitors, which are scary creatures. They somehow look human, but they have strange shapes. So they have spikes instead of their eyes protruding to the back. They have strong powers. And as you can see, there is a distribution of power, political power, between the inquisitors and the obligators. And they envy each other, they don't like each other. And this is how the Lord Ruler plays and controls the final empire. So this is the society and the political structure of the final empire. Then we can talk about the underground life in the final empire. And yes, there is a crime or underground world here. So like the social structure, there is nobility and there is a ska. Also, there are elite underground, and there are, you can say, poor underground world. So the elite underground world, those are thieves who steal from the nobility. Okay, so they have large scale heists and stuff, heists. And then we have the poor thieves. So even the underground normally is divided as anywhere. Now let's talk about the magic system in this trilogy, in the final empire. So because usually most fantasy novels include magic systems. So the magic system here might be a bit complicated and overwhelming in the beginning. But it's very, very strong, and I like it very much. So the magic system here is sort of some superpowers for selected individuals. So all the magic system in the final empire is based on metals, alloys, okay? But there are three different magic systems in the final empire. So first one is allomancy. The second one is ferrochemy, and the third one is hemalurgy. So all of these are based on metals. There are different differences between each one. Maybe I can make a separate video for magic systems here. But basically it's based on metals, okay? And not any metal is eligible for allomancy or for these powers. There are some allomantic metals. So initially they are mentioned as 8 metals, but then we start to discover there are some more metals until we find the magic most expensive metal, which is atium, which is a real metal, of course. So And so each metal gives certain power, okay? So these 8 metals, you can't use them all. So we've got some people who can use certain type of metals only, and each metal has 2 powers, push and pull, okay? For example, you can have the power of affecting or influencing emotions, okay, of others. So you can influence, push against a certain emotion. So anger, for example. So you push against anger. So you make a certain individual inclined to make more angry behaviors. Or you can pull. So you calm down these individuals. So there are, each power has 2 opposite push and pull powers. So some individuals have, and there are rare individuals who have allomantic powers, and you can have only the power of one metal, either to influence emotions, for example, or to pull and push against metals like tin eye, and so on. So these individuals who have the power of one metal, they are known as mistings. But we have more rare and fewer number of individuals who have the power, allomantic powers of all allomantic metals. So they can have powers of all allomantic metals, and these are known as Mistborn. Okay? And hence the name Mistborn. So magic system, we may talk about this separately in another video because they are more complicated. But I enjoyed these, and you'll find that individuals who have these powers, they use it in battles and fights, scenes, so on throughout the novels. So it's very interesting how they use it. So how this power, or where this power comes from, it comes from the nobility. So it is said that the Lord ruler granted these powers to some of the nobilities, and this only can be transferred through heritage. So nobility gives these powers to some of their sons. And it's not essentially that all of your sons will have these powers. So it's not a general rule that if there is one of the nobility who has Mistborn powers, for example, this necessarily doesn't mean that all his sons and daughters will have the power. So this is why nobility would pay attention to having many kids, so that they are more likely to have members of their families who have these powers. And this also impacted the power that houses of the nobilities have. So they try to have more numbers of mistings and mistborns to make them more superior to other houses. And this is why the Lord ruler instructed any nobility who had a sexual relationship with a Scar girl to kill her, so that powers don't get transferred to the Scar. But we'll find out that some Scar had these powers. And hence we come to the characters in this trilogy. And characters are one of the strongest aspects of this trilogy. And also the character development here is very, very well written. So now we have the Lord ruler, and we try to understand his motivations, why he's doing all this. Is he pure evil? And then we have Kelsier. Oh. So Kelsier, this is one of the most memorable characters in this trilogy. So Kelsier, and we'll find out that he's a Mistborn, and he is a leader in the underground, in the elite underground. And we have Kelsier's crew, which also are remarkable characters, prominent characters here. So each of Kelsier's crew, he handpicked them. They have allomantic powers. Each of them is a mystic. And he selected this crew to make the greatest heist in the history of the Final Empire. because Kelsier was planning to rob the Lord Ruler. And on doing this, he was planning to overthrow the Lord Ruler. And Kelsier has his motivations. Each one of his crew have their motivations, and there are dynamics here. And then we get introduced to Vin. And Vin is one of, or that she's the main character actually here, Vin. So in the start of the first book, in the beginning of the first book, she's 16 years old, but she will grow through the books. So Vin was from the underground, but from the poor part of the underground. So she was a thief with her brother, and her brother also, you find out that there's a backstory between her and her brother, and he used to treat her very badly to make her tougher, because he was saying to her, it's a tough world, and what we need to do is only to survive. So you need to be tough. So he was treating her with some cruelty to make her tough. And he was all the time telling her never to trust anyone, because you will not survive if you trust anyone, even me. Don't trust me, because everyone will leave you, and I will leave you one day. And he did. So there was some dynamic relationship between Vin and her brother, and throughout the novel, she's hearing him whispering words into her ears, telling her to do this and do that, and then there's the inner struggle in Vin, because we'll find there's a theme here in the novels, especially in the first book, but this theme repeats throughout the novel or the trilogy, which is trust. And this is one of the themes I liked a lot, trust. So, and that was what Kelsier is trying to build into his crew. And then when he asked Vin to join his crew, because I discovered that Vin is also a Mistborn, and he wanted her to be in the crew. And then she has trust issues. She trusts no one. And Kelsier, his theory in life, you can't live or achieve anything in your life without trust. If you don't trust the people around you, you will not achieve anything. So, and then we have a different perspectives, and how Vin, her characters change and develops and learns how to trust. So that is very, very interesting. And this theme will repeat throughout the novel, this concept of trust. And then we have one of the important members of Kelsier's team, who is called Sazed or Sazed. And he is from a place called Terrace. And this place is very important in the trilogy. So we get introduced to people who are known as Terrace men, so people from Terrace. And it seems that Terrace used to be in the north, and there were some events before the Lord Ruler start ruling the world. These people had an important role. They had some sort of prophecies, and these prophecies about a hero who is the hero of ages, who should fight an evil power, which we don't know what is this. It seems they used to call it the deepness, but we don't know what this deepness is. And we don't know what happened to this hero of ages, but there were prophecies about this, and seems that this hero has failed or something, and now we have the Lord Ruler, but seems that the Lord Ruler, he says that he has defeated this deepness. So Sazed is one of these terrorist men, and the Lord Ruler treats these terrorist men very badly. He executes them and controls how terrorist men are reborn. So he controls their population. But among themselves, the terrorist men have formed selected individuals who are known as keepers. So keepers are responsible for preserving the history prior the days of the Lord Ruler, so that when one day somehow the Lord Ruler is gone and they get rid of him, they transfer the knowledge they have, the knowledge they kept, they transfer this knowledge to the people after the Lord Ruler. So Sazed was one of these keepers, and terrorist men, they have the power of ferrochemy. Okay, so the second type of allomantic powers. So we have allomancy and we have ferrochemy, and these people, the terrorist men, have ferrochemy. So what about the plot? So the plot here, in the first book at least, is how to overthrow the Lord Ruler, the plans, and how the team works together in a plan to overthrow the Lord Ruler. And there are dynamics here between the team, the theme of trust, and then at certain points they might question the motivations of Kelsier. Vin sometimes asks herself, what if Kelsier becomes the next ruler? Will he become like the Lord Ruler? Is he seeking power? So there are some interesting themes here. And then Kelsier, when the team start questioning his actions, because Kelsier will have some actions, and he hates the nobility. He believes that all nobility should be dead. So there are dynamics here that how he deals as a team leader with his crew in order to achieve and focus on the main objectives and succeed in our objective, which seems like a mission impossible, to overthrow the Lord Ruler and to try to penetrate the strong structure he has made within the final empire, the inquisitors, the obligators, the strong nobility, because nobilities also, they have their armies and stuff. So how to deal with all these. So it's very interesting. And then we get introduced to part of his plan is to try to penetrate the nobility. And then we get introduced to Eland. So Eland is the son of the strongest and most powerful house in the final empire. So Eland is a member of this house. So there are some dynamics again here. So all the characters will interact together. And there are interesting dynamics and character development. And this is what I love about these novels. So I can't tell, because I will be spoiling stuff, how things progress from the three books. And again, we're introduced about some historical backgrounds about what happened before the Lord Ruler, the 1,000 years and the prophecies. And then we get introduced to the Well of Ascension. And it seems that the Lord Ruler, who still presents himself as God of this world, but he was a normal man before the 1,000 years, before what is called the Ascension, before he ascended. So it seems that he went to the Well of Ascension, which is the name of the second book. And this historical event of the Lord Ruler ascending, or his ascension in the Well of Ascension. So yeah, this is why these names, that I can't speak more about what happens here and why these books are named like this. But the most important and most powerful things in this book is what we call foreshadowing, or Brandon Sanderson is a master at crafting and putting seeds throughout his books. And these seeds will plant revelations after revelations after revelations. And at every time you say, oh, Really? Oh, so yeah, there are many O's or wows, you will say, throughout, because Brandon Sanderson crafted the plot and the revelations very well. So there are several things get revealed gradually until the final book. So yeah, these are very well crafted revelations. So yeah, so why you should read this, and what I liked about this. So first thing, this is a unique world. It seems that at the beginning it's a book looking for the chosen one, but it's not really that way. But this world is a unique world. I loved being part of this world. You will get connected to this world, to the characters, and I loved the characters here a lot. You will love these characters, you will care for them, you will live through their inner struggles, because there are inner struggles and weaknesses and vulnerabilities in each character, inner doubts, and so on. You will live with them through this, and will go through this, and will feel them. So after the book ends, I mean, this is a book that stays with you. Each book, actually, after each book ends, I mean, you feel that like you're still there, and you'd like to quickly go to the next one to see what happens. And after I finished the trilogy, I felt like, I mean, I want to speak with someone about this. I mean, I want to chat about this. I want to tell how great this is. I want to discuss what happened here, the revelations and stuff. And about these revelations, so one of the quotes of Kelsier, there is always another secret. And yes, in these trilogies, as long as you're reading, there is always another secret. Believe me, you will always find another secret, another revelation, and you will like it. Also, one of the things I liked here is the characters and the character development. So how the characters changed from the beginning of their appearance, wherever they appear in the trilogy, until the end. So character development here, the dynamics between the characters is very good, actually. Battle scenes. So there are many battle scenes here. And I like the battle scenes a lot. And I would like to mention something here, because you will find some reviewers say that the second book is the worst, or not worst, is the slowest paced one, the least one they liked among the trilogy, and I disagree. The three books are solid. Why the second book might be slower paced? Because it has some political things going on, political dynamics going on, and I like this, actually. So the plot here in the second book, it's more politically oriented. How to deal with political challenges, make political decisions that might in the beginning be naive, and then characters start to learn from their mistakes. So yeah, it's a good book, actually. So please don't approach this with some pre-assumptions. Read this. I promise you will like them. And yeah, that was, I mean, I can talk a lot about this, and it will be a very long video. So let's keep it short as much as we can. I hope I haven't forget anything about this, but I strongly recommend reading this trilogy. I enjoyed it a lot. This is Era 1 from Mistborn. Yeah, and hopefully I will start going through Era 2 shortly in the next months or so. Yeah, so that was it about Mistborn. I hope you liked the video, and I hope you share with me in the comments your experience about reading Mistborn, whether you are considering reading this or not. Yeah, and that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and see you in next videos. Bye.